Hello guys, sorry about that, we had a slight technical difficulty. So, yes, welcome to Athena Games. My name is Elliot Baker, your regular commentator for Star Wars X-Wing. Sorry about the slight delay that's on the stream today. We are hosting our monthly tournament on Monday, the 1st of May, which is a bank holiday day here in the UK. So everyone, well, most people have the day off work, which is nice. And we have a very good turnout. We were a bit unsure of what it would be like today, given that we don't have as many people around. However, I'm delighted to say that we have a surprisingly good turnout. We have 21 players, that's 21 pilots, ready to battle it out today to find out who is the best pilot. And we've got a great match the first round. We have Thomas High on the left, who is running a Ghost build, from what I can see. So a Ghost, and I believe it's a Ghost and Shara Bay build, I think, or it could be Thane. And on the right we have Chris Walding, who's running a Shadowcaster and 2 Y-Wings with TLT Unhinged Astromech. So, yeah. Welcome everyone. Thank you, Thalanir the Third? Thalanir the Third? I think that's how I pronounce it. I've always been bad when it comes to pronunciation, so I hope that I didn't offend in any way. So yeah, welcome everyone. I am, of course, Elliot Baker, and I'm one man showing it today for a change. So I'm all alone in this commentary booth, giving my opinion on the X-Wing Miniatures game, and you guys will be my co-commentators today. So please do chime in on the chat with questions or interesting discussion points, and we'll have a conversation throughout the day as I take you through the 4 rounds of X-Wing that we'll be broadcasting today. Excuse me, a lot of talking. Right. So, let me have a look and see if I can pull up the lists of the 2 combatants in question. There's going to be a lot of silence during today's commentary because, of course, we have a live overlay that we use, and usually it requires me to program it while the other commentator is giving you colour commentary on the event. However, unfortunately, with me being alone today, it means there is no one to provide that commentary. Although we might have a special guest in the booth later during the lunch break, or even for the latter half of the tournament, depending on how well his results go, so I'm told. Okay, so Thomas High on the left is running Hera Syndulla, so it's nice to see Hera being used as a pilot. She, of course, it's common to see Kanan these days, but thanks to the Yavin Open's second place list of Hera Syndulla, I think that's kind of made her a bit more popular within the meta, especially when it's shown what she can do. Now, we have Hera Syndulla with the Ghost title, so it's the V6-100, so it will have an attached attack shuttle. It has Accuracy Corrector. Now, Accuracy Corrector is a card where you may cancel, when you're attacking, you may cancel your attack and add 2 hits. So it doesn't matter how many dice you roll, you will always at least get 2 hits. It's a great little card. For 3 points, it's a great insurance to make sure that you at least get some damage through. It takes a system slot. There's not many ships that have a sensor slot or a system slot in the game, so that's very imperative. And we've got set up here, asteroids, very loose formation of asteroids here. It seems to be that Tom's going for a middle setup with his arc, which is Braylon Stram. So yeah, the Ghost also has Auto Blaster, very potent with the Accuracy Corrector. Auto Blaster only 2 or 3 dice, however, they are unblockable by defense dice and defense tokens. So, but it's only range 1, so you have to rely on getting close to your opponent, or your opponent getting close to you to be able to fire. But combined with Accuracy Corrector and the fact that the Ghost title, while the shuttle is docked, allows it to perform 2 attacks with its turret, makes it extremely damaging. That's 4 damage a turn, and that could kill any TIE fighter that comes close to it. However, thankfully, this list doesn't rely on those. You've got Y-Wings and Shadowcaster. The Shadowcaster is probably going to be the most agile of the 2, but really, I think you want to rely more on your primary than anything else in this game. Hera Syndulla has Intelligence Agent, which is quite a common thing to see on her these days. Intelligence Agent allows her to peek at one person's dial. Anyone within range 1 to 2, I believe. I'll double check the ring on that. I have a minion that is currently putting all the squadrons into the squadron builder per instructions, because, of course, I'm all alone today, and normally I would be doing that, but again, Yeah, so much to do. At the start of the activation phase, choose one enemy ship at range 1 to 2. You may look at that ship's chosen maneuver. So a very potent ability allows you to see where one ship is going, which in a small list like Chris's could be very dangerous, especially with those Y-Wings. The Y-Wings have a TLT, which is a twin laser turret, which has a range 1 blind spot. So if he can manipulate the Ghost to get within range 1, he knows he's not taking the shots from those TLTs. So, that indefinitely is very important. Okay, let's move on. The final upgrade for the Ghost is Nin Num, something which I didn't expect to see on the Ghost. Nin Num, very simply, he turns all your forward maneuvers, all your straight maneuvers into green maneuvers, which is very good for the Ghost. The Ghost doesn't have a good array of straight maneuvers that are green. It does have a large amount of red and green maneuvers, which of course means it can stress itself and clear up its stress fairly easily. And of course, it combines very well with Hera's ability. Harrison Dula's ability, when you reveal a green or red maneuver, you may rotate your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. Now, the VCX, or the Ghost, usually has a forward 1 and 2, that's green, and a 3 and 4, that's white. But with that ability, he can essentially, if he's going straight, change his speed anywhere between 1 and 4, which is fantastic. His 2 banks are green as well, so if you set in a forward, you essentially can at least do a 2 bank if you want to. Alternatively, if you want to change between difficult turns, you have the 1 hard and the 3 hard turns, which are red, and the 2 hard, which is white. And again, Hera's ability, she can change for a maneuver the same difficulty, so set in a turn, and you can change it for any other turn, or the 5k turn, which is a maneuver where you go straight ahead and turn around. And we've gotten to the first round, and it seems that Tom is looking for a very early attack range, not anywhere close to range 1, sadly. I think his plan is to get rid of the Shadowcaster before those Y-Wings can get anywhere near the engagement zone. So Tom's other vessel on the list is Ezra Bridger in the attack shuttle, with Inspiring Recruit, Rage, and the Phantom. So Inspiring Recruit allows him to remove 2 stress tokens when he performs a green maneuver once per round, and that can be on his ship or another friendly ship. Rage gives him 2 stress tokens, but he gets a focus token and can reroll 3 attack dice. Very powerful, especially on Ezra, who likes to be stressed. His whole thing is, I'm stressed, I get extra, I can convert focus to evade results when stressed. And finally, Braylon Stram, 31, Arc 170, R3A2. So we've got a stress bot Braylon. Not surprised, given that Braylon can actually clear stress after performing a maneuver, potentially on a dice roll. So there's the potential ability, because R3A2, when you declare on a target, you may receive a stress to give your opponent a stress. So the idea of R3A2 is you take a stress, but Braylon then does a maneuver and potentially clears that stress, whether it's green or not. Tactician, so if you're shooting at range 2, you apply stress to the opponent. You can see where this is going, can't you? Alliance Overhaul gives him an extra dice at the front, giving him a 3 attack dice forward attack, essentially, and Vector Thrusters to give him a barrel roll actions for a bit of repositioning. Chris's list, of course, 2 Y-Wings with Unhinged Astromech. Speaking of, there's the 3 turn, which normally is red for a Y-Wing, but the Unhinged makes it green, so he gets to remove the stress and form a focus action there. The TLT is probably going to be nowhere within range of the Ghost or Braylon if he's lucky. However, the Shadowcaster is the big danger here, because that thing can be dangerous. Let's see if I can remove my camera here. So we have the Shadowcaster, which I believe is Asajj Ventress, with Lats Razi, Push the Limit, Engine Upgrade, and the Shadowcaster title. This provides a bit more versatility to that ship itself, which is a scum vessel. So let me have a look and see what we got here. So the Lancer class pursuit craft, which is what that is. We have Asajj Ventress. At the start of the combat phase, you may choose a ship at range 1 to 2 if it's in your mobile firing arc. Assign 1 stress token to it. So it's got a mobile firing arc. It essentially can fire out of its front, sides, or backs. However, the player must switch the arcs accordingly. Now, Push the Limit gives him 2 actions for a stress token. Lats Razi allows him to spend a stress token on an enemy ship as an evade token, almost. So basically, if someone is attacking you, you get to spend their stress to avoid it. What a great use of the engine upgrade there to slip the arc of the Arc 170, funnily enough. However, Harrison Dula is going to be the main bridge here because she moves after the Shadowcaster, and if Tom has guessed this well, he's going to be within range of that Shadowcaster. Unfortunately, Braylon completely was slipped out of that, but very intelligent because he knows that Tom would want to try and get the Y-Wings in the engagement and just avoided the arc there quite heartily. The title is, of course, Shadowcaster. After you perform an attack that hits, if the defender is inside your mobile firing arc at range 1 to 2, you may assign the defender 1 tractor beam token. And of course, engine upgrade, which he just used to slip the arc there. And there's the Ghost bringing its forward arc to bear. That's a 4 dice primary. That's going to be extremely damaging if he manages to get off an attack. I imagine he's probably going to focus here to get quality on his dice. And now I'm going to go silent very quickly, guys, because I've gone through the lists. I'm going to quickly get the overlay programmed in and get up for you guys so you can see what's going on. Right now. So excuse me if I'm a bit silent, but I'll try my best to keep up with the action. So they're in the the planning phase right now. Actually, no, it's the attack phase. So he's stressing the Ghost, which is wise, because then he can use the Ghost's stress as a evade token. The Shadowcaster is a very effective ship, especially within lists like the infamous Paratani list. And there's an attack roll by Tom. Looks like 2 focus results and a hit there.
Both the stream lists are done.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Saved into current. How would you want them saved?
Or? Just save them to the actual generator.
Saved in current cat.
Yeah. Do that for all the lists that you can.
I know.
Cool, thank you. My minion, who's doing my list creating for me today, because unfortunately, again, one-man show. Right, so let's get back to the action. It doesn't look like there was any damage there. Oh no, the entirety of the shields were stripped off the Shadowcaster. That's big. That is very big. I think that's exactly the kind of swing that Tom needed there. But here comes the Shadowcaster making an attack against Braylon Stram because his mobile firing arc is pointing to the left. It is not range 1, it is range 2, so there's no bonuses either side. But that's 2 focus and a hit there, which he spends the focus to turn to 3 hits. And a blank on Braylon, so he's going to take 3 hits, which is absorbed by all his shields. Very nice ship, the Arc 170. It's such a shame that he was able to slip the Arc there, but it's a very good tactical move, completely what I would expect someone to do. And of course, with the tractor beam, he gets to move a ship, and there's the hit. So Brennan also takes a damage card. This is also where I kind of get my dislike for tractor beam, even though it's completely legitimate and I don't mind it. Plus it's not really tractor beam; it's the ability to assign a tractor token. That's very good. But it's still a very versatile ability, and in all fairness, Tom should have seen it coming and shouldn't have gotten too close to the asteroid. So, but then I guess that's why Tom might have wanted the asteroids and debris fields as far away from each other as possible, so that he has a clear flight field. And we're in the planning phase now, so they're setting their dials in secret and then placing them next to their ships, completely in secret. The opponent does not know what the other is intending to do. Again, sorry for being quiet, guys. I'm just trying to get this overlay set up as fast as possible. If you're in the chat, be sure to send out a comment, let us know if you're watching and what your thoughts are on the action as you see it. We're always looking for feedback here at Athena Games. If you're watching this back on YouTube, like, comment and subscribe to our channel. We always appreciate new viewers, and we like to think that we provide quality content to everyone. And look at that. Now, I think this is an intelligent play by Chris. He might be using the Y-Wings to block the Shadowcaster in order to make sure it stays more or less where it is. However, that could be... Or he could be flying the Shadowcaster over, because if he does bump, he will lose his action, and that's important to consider, because actions are very important next week. It gives you quality. Those Y-Wings have just taken a focus action, and that means they may change a focus result on attack or defense dice to a positive result, basically improving the chances of evading or hitting the target. Right, here comes the arc. It's going off the asteroid, not going over the asteroid finally, so it does actually get to avoid it. However, I don't think there's much he can do here. He doesn't. I mean, he might catch a Shadowcaster in arc if he's lucky, but without some kind of tail gunner, it's probably not going to help too much. And a 3-turn by the Shadowcaster, which means that Braylon will get his shot this turn, because the Arc 170 has a rear firing arc, which it doesn't get 3 dice, but it can add a crit result, I believe, or turn a focus to a crit. The Ghost is fully shielded, though, and that makes you wonder whether that's a mistake on the part of Chris. The Ghost is not to be ignored. It's a very high damage output ship. Either way, it can do 4 damage to you, potentially, in 1 round. Ignoring that thing is probably not a great idea, especially since the attack shuttle is there when it finally does go down. Which, okay, it's an attack shuttle, but it's 1 more enemy ship you've got to deal with. I think focusing on Brelum is not the greatest idea. Yes, it's a stress bot, but I don't think the stress bot is really going to affect him. And oh, look at that. The Ghost is moving in to say hello to the Shadowcaster, and looks like the Shadowcaster might be taking an Auto Blaster turret this round, which is questionable because if Chris stresses out the Shadow... Yep, he's stressing out the Ghost. That's not going to help him. He can't spend that stress to gain a focus token, an evade result, because evade results cannot be added to the Auto Blaster. So whatever happens here, it's going to be bad for him, I think. There we go. There's the Auto Blaster turret. And Tom rolls. He gets a hit and hit, which he doesn't need to use Auto Accuracy Corrector, because he has the 2 hits, and they can't be avoided. So there's 2 damage cards going right to Chris, and Chris, of course, it seems he's an expert. He's been here. He's been to the Yavin Open, as you can see from his very nifty damage deck there with Darth Vader on the back. I very much regret not going myself, but we're hoping to have the entire squad roll up next year to Yavin. Okay, to speed up the process, I'm going to not put upgrades in the overlay. I'm just going to focus on the ships themselves. Now, it makes me wonder. I do think the Shadowcaster is the most dangerous thing on the board for Tom right now, so it makes complete sense that he focuses high on that, although I don't know if I would have shot with the Auto Blaster for the attack. I might have been tempted to go for a primary attack on the Shadowcaster initially to get that 5 attack, because at range 1 he gets an extra dice, and that could have been 5 potential hits in one go, and then he could use the Auto Blaster for another 2. Of course, you're then relying on probability, but I think that you can't discount that. And the Shadowcaster is now also double stressed, which is significant because of R3A2. He also has Tactician, which he's attacking at range 2, therefore he gains another stress token. Youch. 3 stress on 1 ship. The Shadowcaster is going to be hard pushed to get action this round, which is good because that means he can't rely on his engine upgrade, which means that Tom pretty much knows more or less where that thing is going to be. It gives him insurance, and that's exactly what Tom needs to take on the Shadowcaster. That large ships can slip arcs very easily with an engine upgrade, which, yes, it's 4 points, but I also think that thing should have been small ship only, just my opinion, though. But here we go. It's now a 3 dice attack from the Shadowcaster. Oh, 2 hits, and a blank onto Brenham, so he's going to take another 2 damage, and I think that's him down, is it? No, he's still alive. He's still alive. He has 3 hull left, from what I can tell. That is true, Juice. You do have a point, and that was a consideration. So by using the Auto Blaster, he blocked out the potential to evade that. So yes, you are correct in that regards. Just offering my opinion. I mean, I agree that without the modifications, it was very unlikely. He at least got 2 hits, though. Yeah, yeah. Of course, that assumes 2 evades, but of course, we're also assuming 5 hits. So it's a fair comment to make. Neither seems to be too quick to set down their dials in this round. Maybe a bit unsure of what the other's going to do. So here comes the, oh, I'm not sure what our intelligence agent to see where the Shadowcaster is going. That gives him a bit more maneuverability with, or, not maneuverability, but prediction with Hera. He just needs to be careful that he doesn't bump the Shadowcaster, because if he bumps the Shadowcaster, he's not getting that attack. Now, currently, a 1 bank probably could set the Ghost exactly where the Shadowcaster is now. But the 2 bank is green, so he's going to have to go 2 bank, because he probably would have set forth a 2 bank to try and see where he's going to go. I don't think he was set in a turn. Alright, and there goes Braylon with a simple forward, keeping the rear arc to display, while also keeping range on those Y-wings. TLT Y-wings, never a good thing to see on the opposite side of the table to you. Especially when there's 4 of them. Oh, the Shadowcaster doing a 3 bank. So it's going over the asteroid, which I think is its attempt to say, I'm at least going to get distance away from that Auto Blaster, or even away from the Ghost's primary. However, he is very close to Braylon, and I think he might even get stressed. That might be range 2 there. So he could have some more stressing going on. And the Shadowcaster is hurting. It is that thing has taken quite a beating so far. It still has quite a few Hull and Shields to go, though. It has 3 more left. Now, 4 more left from my count. Whereas the Y-Wings are untouched, and they, again, like the Ghost, those Y-Wings should not be ignored. They can put out a considerable amount of damage output in a single turn, especially together. Like the Ghost, they can put out essentially 2 hits per round. So it's important that he finish off the Shadowcaster ASAP and then bring everything to bear upon those Y-Wings, because you want to get them down ASAP. And I think the Y-Wings would be the time which you do use the primary. With 1 defense dice, it's probably worth it to risk the higher damage output for the 1 defense. Of course, if you've got range 1 on with the Auto Blaster, why not use it? But so it depends. And that's not bad. That's actually exactly where he wants to be, for at least to attack the Y-Wings. He's not going to get a chance to attack the Shadowcaster with both ships, however, but I think it is important that Braylon concentrate on the Shadowcaster, and there we go. He's said, I'm going to stress you because I get an evade, because Lats Razzie is so good for 1 point. Number up those Y-Wings. That looks like range 2. Auto Blaster onto the Y-Wing. Why not? Why not? And that's 2 hits on the Y-Wing, which is the Y-Wing number 1. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that's number 2, so I don't confuse myself. And there's a hit and 2 crits from the Shadowcaster. And that's Brellim dead before he gets a chance to attack, which is such a shame. Such a shame. That list deserves more. And now, unfortunately, I think this pretty much is it. I don't think the Ghost can catch the Shadowcaster before it clears those 2 stress, at least without doing difficult maneuvers. And unfortunately, with a stress token, that's not going to with a stress, that's not going to happen. And those Y-wings also alone are enough to do it. I think the best thing for Tom to do is to turn right and go away from the Shadowcaster, try and take out a Y-wing, then return and re-engage with the Shadowcaster at a later time. And another 2 shields of the Ghost. Auto Blast accuracy corrector. So that Y-wing's now down to it's now got 4 hull remaining. There we go, there's the overlay. No upgrades on this, basically just save time. It's just taking too much time. I agree with you, Thunder. I think you should have used the rear primary on that Y-wing. At least he stripped it down to 4 hits left. So if he does get that Auto Blaster on that Syndicate Thug, that Syndicate Thug is going down, but not before it gets a chance to attack. And that's the key thing. It all depends where that thing is going. And if Chris is a smart player, he's probably going to turn the Y-Wings Y-Wing a 3 hard to the left to get it away from the zone and force the Ghost to re-engage with all the guns in one area, which is dangerous, especially since... Oh, interesting. One is turning into the engagement there, which he would probably definitely have range, unless Tom has pulled a rabbit out of a hat for this one. Or a Lothcat, maybe, out of a hat. Oh, he's going for a bank. Interesting. So he's still clearing... well, he doesn't have a stress to clear, but he's keeping nearby. I think he's hoping that he won't be anywhere near... Well, he won't be anywhere near range 1 because the Ghost will move far enough away, so he'll only have the primary attack to contend with, which itself is worrying. Now, I really hope that Tom has chosen to turn right and re-engage at a later time, because if chasing the Shadowcaster is a doomed venture, it means he's keeping within range of those Y-Wings, and the Shadowcaster can continue to fire at him, and he can't fire at the Shadowcaster unless he pulls something really amazing here. So I do think a 2-bank to the right would be the best call. Puts him close to the edge, but there's not like they're ion Y-Wings, so he's fine. Oh, he's going 1 forward. I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake personally, but that's just me. He's got enough room to turn, but I don't think that he's got the range 1 on Syndicate Thug 2, which is significant because it means that can get its TLT shot, and he has no Auto Blaster shot. He is relying entirely upon his primary weapon. Blaster Shadowcaster is most definitely within range 3 of the Ghost, although it is through an asteroid, so the Ghost will get 2 evades, thankfully. I completely agree. Get range on the Shadowcaster and potentially range on at least one of the Y-Wings. It clears your stress as well, and you get a rear shot on potentially 2, which could have been range 3, but I would rather have that than nothing. There's always the potential for a blanket on both sides. There's a range 2 shot there on the Y-Wing, so a primary attack, right target, 5 hits, and a blank out will kill this Y-Wing. Let's see if Tom can manage that. I don't think he's got the quality, But who knows? Luck could be on his side. And Lady Luck is not on his side today with only 2 hits and a focus token on blank. But a blank from the Syndicate Thug means that he doesn't need to take 2 more hits and is 2 more away from dying. Now, if Tom would have been in range, he would have a dead Y-Wing on his hands there. Now, there we go. The 2 bank would have got him out of the way of the Shadowcaster, whereas the Shadowcaster gets a long-range 3 attack on the Ghost, and anything going at the Ghost is dangerous with its 0 agility dice. 3 attacks. There's a hit. I think it's a hit, focus, and crit, and a focus result, which he's going to spend the evade result to get 1 evade. So I think he removes the 1 shield. Yes, he does. And then he draws a damage card, I believe. Oh, no, nothing there. So that's fine. Just 1 for the TLT. So there's 1 damage card immediately. And there's Blank out, actually, spending the focus. So there's another 1 from to the Ghost. And this is where the Y-Wings make their own. They're plinking damage away from that Ghost very quickly. And this is exactly what Tom doesn't want. He needs to take down number 2 ASAP to make sure that he doesn't continue to sustain such heavy fire. And there's 4 hits in 1 round. Such consistency, especially on a 0 agility ship. The Ghost, and people say the Ghost doesn't need its 2 attacks in 1 round. I think this proves it does. But there we go. It's such a shame that Braylon died so soon. Not surprising, given that he's a stress bot, and that can be very debilitating to a list. The Shadowcaster's been taken out of the engagement for 2 entire rounds. Well, actually, not out of the engagement. He's got no actions, though. However, that's not affected his quality in the slightest. However, Tom now has a conundrum, because if he turns hard 2, he's not going to... Number 2 is not going to be anywhere near his attack vector. Number 1 is going to be chasing him, and that's fully hulled and full shields with full hull. So he's not going to be able to kill number 1. And this is the problem. I think a 2 bank with a focus result could have given him the quality he needed to take down Y-Wing number 2. And a slow roll, because Y-Wing's TLT. And here comes the other one, which is probably going to do with, 2 bank, trying to keep within range of the Ghost. Which, it doesn't matter where the Ghost goes here. It is suffering the TLT from number 1. So that's going to be 2 hits to the Ghost, we can pretty much call here. And in comes the Shadowcaster now. So that thing's going to start chasing, especially since it's now got only 1 stress token left. So it needs to do 1 more green maneuver, and it has actions again, and that itself can be dangerous. Let's see which direction Tom's going. I think he's doing a 1 bank. It's a 2 turn. Ooh, mistake, I think. I think it's a mistake. Number 2 has TLT range on the Ghost. And he can block the Ghost next turn if he's very shrewd with his maneuvers. I think that was a mistake from Tom. And Tom is not going to get any shots because no turret. Oh, but he's deploying the Phantom. I think that's a wise call, given how much that thing is taking damage. Now, he's already within range 1. Does he want to barrel roll to get out of the forward firing arc of that Y-Wing? Or does he want to hope that Chris is going to take the TLT shot on the Ghost as a more important kill? So Ezra is raging. It makes sense. He gets defense buffs when he is stressed. So he gains 2 stress tokens, can reroll up to 3 defense dice, and a focus token for further modification. That should be enough, theoretically, to take down Syndicate Thug number 2, but not number 1, which is the main problem here. If that was number 2, he could kill it, but it's not. It's number 1, which is fully hulled, fully shielded. At most, he can remove the shields. And he's getting no attacks with the Ghost. And it seems the Shadowcaster is opting to go with a long shot on Ezra. I'm not sure whether Ventress can proc there, and a blank out, which that's when the stress did come into account there. Now, can Ezra remove 3 shields, or even 3 shields and a hull from Syndicate Thug number 1? We're going to see in here, and let's see where how the dice fall. He gets 3 modifications. Okay, so there's already a focus result in there. He can re-roll that 1 blank. Does he want to re-roll the focus, though? No, he wants to keep the focus. Wise choice. And then he spends the focus for a complete hit, for a complete attack of 4 hits. So he has full modifications on his attack. And lo and behold, there's an evade token there, or an evade result. So that's 3 shields removed from the Y-Wing. Right. However, as I said before, the ghost is getting nothing and taking everything. So TLT, 1 defense dice, and nothing. So 1 damage through. And there's a hit. So another damage through, and the ghost is now down to 4 hull remaining. And that is not good. Here comes the second TLT. It hits. Next TLT shot. And the ghost is nearly dead, and the TLTs have been the things that have cut the ghost down to size in this match. I think those TLTs are rough, man. Especially Shadowcaster's been doing a lot of interference, especially with Braylon and moving Braylon onto the asteroid to get loose shots. It's painful. And I do think that Tom did mess up in some of his maneuvers, but of course no one's perfect in the game, and hindsight is of course always useful. The ghost is probably going to bank in 1 here, hoping that Y-Wing number 2 is somewhere near the firing arc and is not blocking him, which, if that's the case, he can at least get number 2 if he's very, very lucky. But if Chris is a shrewd player, he will probably try and make sure that number 2 is nowhere near where the ghost can touch it or where Ezra can touch it, because it would mean giving points to your opponent. Which is worth noting that the Shadowcaster is worth half points, and so is the ghost at this point. Now, sending a Thug 2 could be taken out. Sending a Thug 1, if the Shadowcaster goes down, I think versus Ezra and the Syndicate Thug, depending on when and where if somehow Thomas can avoid the TLT, he might have a shot here. It's a very long shot and very unlikely, but it's a potential shot. Here we go. And I think he's wondering if he can see a dial and which one he wants to look at. Which, to be fair, I think he can only look at number 1. Unless number 2 is in range, in which case I would look at number 2, because that's the one you want to kill. He's looking... Oh, he can see number 2s. And I think, yep, he's going to see number 2s. So he gets to see what number 2 is doing, which we of course we can't see because we can't zoom in, unfortunately. And he's doing a 2 hard. Yep, getting as far away from where the ghost is going to be as possible. Which hopefully, actually a 2 bank might just land that thing in the forward primary of the ghost, and the course would clear the ghost stress. But of course a 2 hard would be acceptable, but it would mean the ghost gets no modification. Which, to be fair, all it needs is 2 hits and a blank out on the Y-Wing, which is a lot to ask for, but it's there. So a 3 hard from the other Y-Wing, splitting fire. There's now nowhere for Ezra to go where it can't be shot by something. And Ezra's doing a 2 forward. Probably hoping to catch the Shadowcaster, and he's still within the range 1 blind spot of Syndicate Thug 1, so that actually could be useful for him. He's also nowhere near an asteroid, so it's impossible for the Shadowcaster to actually cause him to bump into an asteroid debris field. Actually, I don't know. Maybe the debris field to the left-hand side might be a problem, but not the asteroid. And he's caught him. Right, smack bang. However, this is the Shadowcaster, and it can use a boost, which I predict he might actually try and do. Because, oh no, he's token stacking, so a focus and an evade token. Hoping to tank the damage there. Now, is that a 2-turn there from the ghost? My guess is yes, because he didn't know for sure where that thing was going to go. Oh no, he's changing. So maybe he did dial in a forward and is now changing to a 2 bank. Oh no, he's going forward 1. Ooh. That's interesting, because if there's range between all of those ships, that does mean the Ghost isn't going to get attacked, which is great for the Ghost. It can then turn and zoom towards number 2 and blast that thing off the board. However, that assumes that number 2 is beyond range 3, and an evade token for good measure. This is interesting, actually. I don't think 2 is actually in range to get anyone, so that wasn't too much of a bad choice. However, range 1, between the 2 there, that's very close, range 1. They might need a judge call on that one. I think they're saying it is range 1. So it was nudged, and I can see that the line impedes the base, so it is indeed range 1. So both ships will get their primary weapon value boosted by 1 dice. So 4 for both. However, there's another stress token. Razzi's going to have a field day with Ezra. And if anything, if Latz doesn't spend it, it means that Ezra actually is going to end up stressed next turn because no action, because he can't clear all 3. So it might actually be his... And of course, Ezra can change those evade results. But he still suffers 1 shield, which is not too bad, I suppose. But it's ideally you want to receive nothing when it comes to the attack shuttle. Although it's very hard when you've got the hull and shield of an A-wing and the defense of an X-wing. That's not a bad attack at all. That looks like hit, and crit there. Spending the focus, wise choice, to get the 3 hits in. Shadowcaster gets at least 1, and it gets 3. So, nah. Because Razzi. Actually, evade token. So yeah, he's been intelligent. He's stressed Ezra, and now Ezra cannot clear his stress tokens. That's very intelligent. And unfortunately, the TLT has range. That's unfortunate. Well, this is going to be 2 hits for Ezra, and that's not what Ezra wants. Yeah, because Ezra can't avoid the first TLT, so shield removed. Well, Ezra can't avoid that either, so Ezra's taking another one and is nearly dead. So pretty much it's coming down to the fact that this is not going to be... there's no way that Tom can win this unless he makes an amazing comeback. I think it'd be nice if Tom at least kills number 2, and I think he's going to probably try and bring everything to bear upon that in the hopes that he can at least get something for this game rather than walk away with just a measly few points on the Shadowcaster. But yeah, TLT is very strong. I'm actually thinking that TLTs actually might be on FFG's next hit list. Because, of course, Imperial, which, ironically, Imperials are getting them soon. But I think if you costed the TLTs a bit more higher, the Y-Wings couldn't have their astromechs, and that is what gives them versatility. I mean, I'm talking about quad TLTs here, but not this particular build. I don't think it needs it, maybe, but meh. I don't know. It's weird because TLTs exist for a reason. They exist to stop those ships that can just roll evade dice and get so many evade results that doesn't matter, i.e. TIE Interceptors, TIE Defenders, A-Wings, etc. But at the same time, they've caused an issue in the fact that because they're so consistent in their damage, if you shove an obnoxious number of them, i.e. 4, in one list, that's 8 damage potentially a turn, which, that's 2.5 TIE fighters. Yeah. Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting. I would have thought he would. Then again, maybe he's hoping that the Ghost won't be able to hit him at so far range. Then he won't get his TLT shot. I don't know. I still don't think that's the best choice. Then again, it means he'll definitely catch Ezra. So, yeah. But Ezra does shoot first. So if Ezra and the Ghost can together kill Syndicate Thug 2, I don't think that's the best move for Ezra personally. And Ezra bumps, but So, he doesn't get his action anyway, so it's not really a big deal, but unfortunately Ezra is probably going to die this round, because the Shadowcaster is going to move its left-hand arc to bear, and then it's going to tractor Ezra, so it gets one less defense dice when the TLTs are shooting at it. And a target lock, for good measure. Ah. And Ezra has no target as well, so all for naught, really. A 1 turn. I don't think that's going to keep range, though. I think... Ooh, actually, I don't know. But still, the ghost on 3 hull left. You want to go in and kill that Y-Wing ASAP and just grab those points. You don't want to keep the ghost alive longer. You want to get your points worth. You want to at least kill a ship. I think he's being way too cautious, more cautious than he needs to be. Especially since it does stress him, which could affect next round, because he's going to have to do a 2 bank, and that potentially puts him very close to asteroid, and also means that Chris knows exactly what maneuver he's going to pull. 4 dice from the Shadowcaster says goodbye, Ezra. And Ezra Bridger goes down. What a shame. I expected more out of this list but Tom doesn't get a chance to play in very high competitive events. He's not played Chris before, so he's not aware of his the way he plays. And in fact, if anyone who puts down a Yavin deck in front of me is kind of like, you're a skilled player. You're skilled enough that you want to take the trip to Yavin, which I'm just someone who wants to go to Yavin for the experience of, I'm going to go to Yavin and have some fun and go pew pew all day and say, yay, I'm playing spaceships. And the sweet swag, if I'm honest. Speaking of sweet swag, up for grabs today we have the Q2 kit, which I don't have the lovely acrylic evade tokens, but I do have the alternate art cards, which we have Tactician, which actually was being used in this game. Not this exact card, but this is the alt art version of it, which is the Scum version. A very nice card, lovely bit of art. And the other card is one that I actually really like, is Elliot Baker from The Force Awakens, T-70 pilot. Again, great piece of art. So everyone will get a Tactician, and the top, the top 4, out of the top 4, 2 may choose either Elliot or the Evade, acrylic Evade tokens. Okay, so the Ghost is going from a 2 bank, and will probably get a range 3 shot on Syndicate Thug 2, but it will be the last shot that it ever makes, because here comes the Shadowcaster and the Y-Wing, and the Shadowcaster is probably going to boost as well to get it around the asteroid. Oh no, it's taking a stress to push the... yes, it went over debris field, of course it did. But it takes nothing, but it does get a stress token, because for its pleasure. 2 bank from the Ghost. That's what I think. 2 bank. Am I right? Am I right, Tom? Or have you surprised me? Come on. Let's see that 2 bank. Let's see that... Yeah, there we go. The 2 bank. Gonna be really close. But he clears the asteroid with room to spare, removes the stress, and gets an action, which is good. He's going to take a target lock, I think. Yep, he's taking a target lock for rerolls. Oh, no. Yeah, he is taking a target lock. Yeah, I'm saying he measures, so he must have been going for a target lock. So he now knows he's at range 2, at least. So no extra dice for you, Syndicate Thug. He's relying on the reroll, and... Oh, no. Oh, that is actually just range 3. He knows he's going to die this round, so he wants to kill that Y-Wing, which I do not blame him one bit. Hit. Well, spend the target lock and make sure that Y-Wing cannot avoid any of it, because it's probably going to spend that evade token. Oh, I don't think it could evade that at all. Oh, it's range 2. An evade, not enough, unfortunately. You are dead, sir. So it's nice to see Tom at least score something back. In my opinion, games where you don't score anything, while of course understandable why they happen, and it's very disheartening as a player. So good to see him getting something out of the engagement, even though he knows he's going to lose. The Shadowcast is going to try and finish the ghost off. It's not through the asteroid. Got a good chance here. Spend all 3 of those and call it game. Yep. Oh no, that's hit, crit. So yep, it's game. So boom. And it was called right there. So, such a shame. Thomas does get some points out of it. He gets the Syndicate Thug and half points on the Shadowcaster, which is not a small amount of... not bad. Not bad. You know, it's a valiant effort for the match. But yeah. Looks like that Chris is giving some advice and encouragement to Tom to see what we do. Right, so I'm going to quickly go and get myself some nourishment because I'm all alone up here. So we're going to take a quick break. I'll be back in just about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to have a look out there, see what other lists we have, and then we'll get going on to previewing all the lists that we have today. Because hopefully my minion is finished putting all the lists into the Squadron Builder. So we'll see you in just a quick moment, folks. We'll be right back.